Hey everyone, Ekman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for TAX Oceania Regionals that happened this past weekend. It was 61 players, and it was live streamed on the double sleeved Twitch account too, so that's going to be linked in this web page, which is linked to the description, as well as just linked to the description of this video as well. And I do also want to mention that some of these deck lists weren't 100% clear which one of the where the cards are in the main deck versus side deck. This was a best of one pre-side anyway, so doesn't really matter what's in the side or main deck, because you get to shuffle your deck and switch in and everything. So not a huge deal, but just kind of note that when we go over these lists in general. But going over the top 16 leaders as well, we did have 4 Shenrons, 3 Gammas, 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gokus and Vegetas, then also one of 4 Super Saiyan Vegeta, the new star deck leader, Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, the rebooted Zenkai leader, then also 1 Cooler Mill, a Supreme Kai of Time, a Soul Striker reboot, a Son Goku and Vegeta, the new Super Saiyan Vegito yellow leader, then also Gogeta, which is the newer green BT20 leader as well. So a good amount of diversity, a couple of oddities as well. Specifically, having a green leader in the top 16 is pretty odd for us in a lot of ways. Then also for yellow, we've been seeing yellow top mostly from Goku and Vegeta Trunks and Vegeta, father, son, and sometimes Ape Goku and Golden Frieza. I'd say those are the 3 more popular yellow leaders, and none of them did top. We also did know that none of them were being played, so that's probably part of the reason they did not top, but just an interesting difference there. We also do see the second most popular leader was Aandroidd 21, and none of them made it into the top 16. Meanwhile, Gamma, with only 4 of them, 3 of them got into the top 16. So I honestly think Gamma is just shown to be doing better with the new materials and new pieces that we got for the blue-green Android, specifically with the Android 6 or Android 21 stuff. But we'll see if that ends up being more true or not. But I do think that's an interesting note there too. We also did have Gamma win the regionals this last weekend as well here in the States for core TCG. So I don't know. I think Gamma's just in a really, really good spot. I think it's a really solid leader, and it can just use the tools. We'll talk about that later. We're going to go over the top placing list for each one of these leaders, starting off with their first place list. So this is John Argyros' first place Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. And I don't have a lot to say about this leader. We've been seeing it for the better half of the last, at least since release, right? Since last September. So over half a year at this point. It's pretty understood how this deck works. It did get some changes, including limiteds of 1, but there are some tech choices, including the the Super Saiyan, Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks triple combination. Being able to use this card is quite nice. Being able to just play this as a 20k and just get the removal of something for minus 30k is kind of nice too, especially if you just need it for removal. You can have some ways off the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to play a battle card for free, and then you can get the value from there. Obviously, you won't get the combo stuff, but that's something for you there. I do like the idea for also including there's the Piccolo Jr., descendant of the King, being able to get some additional draw. Obviously, this is still a really solid leader or unison. The only thing that's wrong with it is that you can only run one of it. But I mean, if you just need another one, you're good, especially since you're playing Yamchas, and I think there's Wolfang Fists in the side too, which again, since it is best of 1 your side deck and your main deck, there's not much difference between there. Honestly, the most important thing is how many cards are in your main deck, right? That's the thing to kind of consider here. But everything else is really solid. This card is not that card. Well, this card is broken, but this card is super duper broken. Peel off missile is also interesting too. So since you're really heavy on unisons, at least you're running 5 unisons, which most decks only run 4 if any. Peel off missile I think is a really strong way to get a counterplay off, and you don't necessarily care as much about discarding 2 cards, even though you go -3 in hand with peel off missile being the third piece. It's still really great for no energy, and it can really trip up a lot of plays, I think. So I like the tech there, and not much more else to say. Just congrats to John for their first place there. Next up, we have the Super Saiyan Vegeta Fighting Instincts, and this is a really interesting leader. I've been seeing people kind of theory craft it a little bit, and we pretty much got 2 like what Goku and Vegeta, like yellow archetypes from the set, which is really cool. But this is more, I would say, the aggressive one, and like what the possibilities you have for it in general. Just the fact that you get to be really aggressive, and then just the flexibility and just needing Gokus and Vegetas in your Z energy or your battle area is really interesting. Honestly, this card is really great. This is a really, really good card. Being able to just play for one, a double striker 20k is fantastic. This being able to be played for one of your leaders, like Goku, Vegeta, or Evil, you can draw one and play this from your hand. It's a 25k. Also, when it attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with any cost 5 or less in rest mode and KO it. And if you have a Son Goku in player's energy, and you have 3 more energy, it gets double strike, so it's solid there. This Goku is great too. You get to essentially play it for 1. It can get blocker and like not be KO'd by your leader's skills, which is great for a couple of things, and including like if you want to do your end game conditions. So you do have a Z leader, which has like the activate battle to add cards to your life until you have 1 left. It gets plus 15k double strike, and then choose all cards ignoring barrier and KO them, but that won't include the Goku since it can't be KO'd by your leader skills, which is interesting. And then this Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku 2, which a lot of, I think, yellow decks are just putting in anyways. It's a 5k combo. Being able to use it for when this card attacks, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barriers, which are rest mode, which is pretty solid, or just KO something without barrier. And then you can also play this card from your hand, and if you have a yellow egg, this doesn't really happen, but being able to play this for 2 I think is solid. If all cards in your battle area are in rest mode, you get to switch this card to active mode too, which could just be another attack if you need to. We know that Vegito's strong, and I think that's mostly it. We do have like some toe attack. I don't know. I think specifically this list is what it is. I think these cards are in the main, but interesting check with Dark Rejuvenation Toa. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards, or choose up to one of your energies battle cards with any cost 2 or less, and switch it to active mode. Which I'm not. What would you want to be switching to active mode with this? I guess it's just like maybe the Goku. Maybe. Is there something else here that I'm missing? I don't think so. Because all these are too expensive for what they are. It must be literally just, I mean, I guess it could be the Oolong. If you want to make Oolong like it must be the Oolong, right? The Oolong's great. You can also use this Goku since it does get like the boost, and it gets plus 10k power, so that's fine. Also Z Leader being able to play this, and the Majin Buu is really a good card too, being able to use it for a dual attack that you get to play for pretty cheap too, off like the effects for it. And this card's still stupid good. Being able to KO something with barrier and getting critical dual attack is solid, especially for yellow. But it's a really interesting deck. I need to be honestly testing this a little bit more. I think it has a lot of cool interactions with it, and it can be very strong in a lot of ways. So that is Peter's list there. Next up, we do have Mark Andrews' Gamma list. I'm not going to talk about this list a lot just because I think Gamma's just been like it's been out for almost a year. It's almost May, and it's going to be like just a almost year-long leader that's been topping for essentially every event that's been around since it came out. But very strong. We're just getting a lot of incremental support as the time goes on. Anything that just cares about blue or green androids, or since this is technically a blue android leader, you got a lot of support from that too. Android 17 is such a good card for you there too. This is probably, I'm going to say this is probably the best leader for the secret rare as well. I mean, Android 20 was great, but just the fact that this doesn't have any restrictions for what it is, being able to choose all your opponent's battle cards in unisons, ignoring a barrier, place it underneath this card, and then for every 2, like being able to play Gamma with 10 cards in your life essentially is great. Being able to have an actual board clear is great. The fact that this card is searchable is great. Like there's no downsides for this card. It's incredibly strong. It's very, very good for what you're at. And then you do also get to take advantage of some of the Android 21 cards, since you do get to go through energy at the start of your turn and at the end of your turn. Being able to play a little bit, Jiren is in green, which is great, and just kind of everything else. But man, this deck is such a terror. It's very, very strong. I severely dislike playing against it right now. It's in a really, really good spot. And there's I don't know, there's not much. You probably have your opinions. Let me know what you guys think about Gamma. If it's still very, very good. Do we just have to like ban all untapped 3 leaders ever? We'll see if that's the case. I don't know if I want this banned yet, but it's in a really, really good spot. It's very strong, and it's just crazy how good it still is. So anyways, congrats to Mark on their finish there. Then we also do have Nicholas with their Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. And when I was running one of my webcam tournaments at the start of BT20, this is one of the leaders that topped. And, I was really converted on just how strong this leader can be. The fact that it does have a, for 2 blue, being able to do a draw 1 and then also put something at the bottom of your owner's deck is great. The fact that this deck doesn't take crit damage inherently, which is good. The fact that, at the end of your turn, you get to untap 1 is great. We get to attack and draw. It's also not a once per turn on that draw, which means that if you are playing the Sun Gohan Beyond the Ultimate, you get an extra draw there too. And then also like and then additionally, if you have a mono blue Z-Bow card with 5 or more, it gets plus 10. Like that happens. You play this card. It's not like a needed card for it, but that's fine. We also do have access to ramp with Android 21. So when this card is played, you may place the top card of your deck into your energy and rest mode and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of your owner's deck, which is great. So like just having some conditional ramp there is nice. And just kind of everything else with it. So it's just very good. It feels like this is a very interactive deck with, being able to make a lot of value off the Pan and Piccolo package, be really obnoxious with what you're doing, and just get some additional value from there too. So also you do have like some of the pieces of the original archetype, for example, like Trunks Never Ending Justice. During your opponent's, if all your energies mono blue, you reveal this card from your life to add it to your hand, you may play it instead. So being able to play this from and obviously like it's a little bit stacky with it, but then also during your opponent's turn, if all of your energies mono blue, you reveal this card from your life, add it to your hand instead. And then for when this is used in a combo, you may add 1 card from your energy to your hand. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can play instead just to draw 1, which is great. Like just like the cycle from this is just strong for it. So I don't know. It's an interesting deck. I want to test it out more personally, and just congrats to Nicholas for their finish there. Next up, we have Milk Cooler here. So this is Timothy's list, and it's a also very, very interesting build for what it is. We've been seeing this deck for I would say it tops every once in a while. Every once in a while. Just the fact that milling is kind of strong in this format. The fact that some decks do just draw a lot of cards for it. Like SS4, Gogeta just draws through most of their deck. It's crazy how much cycle the deck has. So there are some like newer cards for, including running the Cooler Secret Rare. So that's really interesting for this. I don't know if it's just because it's cool. I don't think you get any. It is Frieza Clan. Does that mean it's searchable off something? It must be searchable off something immediately. Does he? Yeah, okay. Yeah, when this card's played, look at top 5 cards of your deck. Up to 1 red or blue. Okay, so it's red or blue. I don't think it's searchable because it needs to traditionally be red or blue cards. Yeah. I don't think it's searchable for it, but it is an interesting card for it. Making your opponent like it can't just be an alternate win condition all by itself, which is great since it's very, very good at comboing. And there's also the Android 21 or 17 Comp Judgment. So when this card is played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add to 1 red or blue multi-color cards, and it costs 6 or less among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. And limit 1 if your leader is a mono red warrior of your 7, doesn't matter. So you just use this to search for pretty much all your pieces, which is great. I think that can be very strong for you. And it's just really interesting to see that milling is still a somewhat good piece for you there, especially like you're running the Pan Glimpse of Talent, which I would only assume is to push it to the other side, so then you can use Frieza to get the additional mill if you need to. You don't really care about just playing these Pans early game and just leaving them there. Since they do have barrier, they're sometimes hard to interact with, and again, like being able to mecha Frieza for the full cost seems really good. But also Mafuba, which is a wild card to see in 2023, which is really, really interesting. So I think that's all I really want to talk about this one. Congratulations to Timothy for their finish there. Next up, we have our 7th place. So this is Tom with Supreme Kai of Time. I would say this is probably like the strongest black deck we have right now. I know not as many people are on Cumber. You do get to use a little. I mean, you get to use the Secret. The Secret is just absurd for what it is. It's like the most consistent in the fact that you can play it from your hand or warp, which just means that like by turn 3 or 4, you've gone like through half your deck. So you're most likely seeing this card, right? Either in your hand or milling it and warping it later. So, but you just get still like intense pressure from these Trunks and the Sun Gotens. You're able to, not a lot of decks are playing Overwhelm, so being able to use that is great. And Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this deck. It's pretty self-explanatory for, the strength of it and how strong it's been the last little bit. I would say it's not the most consistent deck at times, but when it goes off, it really, really does go off. And I think it's worth committing to. It's just like black is always kind of like on a razor's edge of like the deck being like not good or like over powerful. And I think this is like the fairest like black deck we've had in a while, and the fact that we have like a lot of overwhelm and free playing, but it's not like absurd at times, and like there's also time for like the way that the format runs right now that you can interact with it a little bit. So it's in an okay spot. I don't think it's broken or bad. It's just like a solid deck in a lot of ways. So congratulations to Tom on their finish there. Next up, we have our 8th place. This is Tyson with Since Shenron, and Since Shenron is still in a really, really good spot. I would say it's not doing. I don't think Since Shenron's going to win anything anytime soon. But if you want, I think if there's 2 decks, if you want to run them and have a really good chance at topping, probably not winning, but topping, I would say Since Shenron's a really good one, and maybe Gamma, even though Gamma won last week. But Since Shenron is such a good spot, you're probably going to go X1 with it pretty easily compared to a lot of other leaders. I think you're probably going to have like 1 or 2 matchups where either like the cracked Dragon Balls aren't like in the spots you want them, or you just have like a little bit of inefficiency. But man, this deck is still very great. Being able to abuse the Son Gohan and the new Since Shenron promos that we have is great. Deciding to run the Unison build of this, which is a decision. I don't think it's one way or the other is necessarily better. It's just kind of a personal choice for you. And honestly, just a really slim and fantastic list for what it is. So I don't think there's a side deck for this, which I don't think you really need one, especially since, again, just the power of this deck. If there was a side deck, I would maybe think there'd be some like red-yellow stuff since you are running Dragon Thunder, but again, this is a very strong list, and honestly, like, good for anyone just trying to get into the game. I feel like it's just very good. Even without the Secret Rare, you don't need this card. And maybe we will use the new Red Sin that was just announced. Probably not. Maybe we do. I'm not sure. Actually, we might. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get to it. But yeah, I don't think this deck is going anywhere anytime soon without any interaction or, I don't know, something with it. It's just very good for what it is still. So congratulations to let's see. So this is Tyson, for Tyson for their finish. We got 3 more lists, including this list. So this is Blake's Super Saiyan God, Son Goku, Soul Strikers. I still think in an okay spot. We're still like looking for leaders to take over since Super Saiyan God Goku is gone. So I think this is still a really good leader for what it is. The fact that the auto when this attacks and draws and you switch to is not once per turn means it's fantastic with the Son Gohan Secret Rare. I will say like this does feel like a like blue in general feels like if you see your Gohan you win, and if you don't you might win. But like you're just so dependent on finding this card. So being able to have some cycle, I think, is very important, which includes for having like the Saiyan Instincts, including having the Unbreakables, and like the Beerus Destroys and the Kamehamehas. Like all this stuff just means that you are able to draw and cycle more. 1-drops, including also the Piccolo here to be able to find this from your deck, which is great. I really do like the Baby, the Unknown Parasite, even though like this deck was eroded as well to not being able to awaken early with the Unison. Like this is still really great. Being able to give your leader double strike is fantastic, especially if you're using the Son Gohan effect to be able to attack again, which is really good. So you could do something where let's say you use Baby, you can just like hard play this for 5, use this effect to give your leader double strike, attack with your leader, especially since Champa doesn't exist anymore. Giving your leader double strike, get 2 energy back, and then use Gohan Secret Rare for 2, and then you get to restand your leader so you can attack with it again and get 2 more energy back, and it's still a double strike swing. So now you have like double strike dual attack for 5, and that just feels really good. That's just like an example of something you can do with this, but you obviously can go for a long game. You can use Turning the Tide if you want to. Again, I'm surprised you're running Turning the Tide without the Android 21 for ramping, but that's fine. And just a bunch of 1s and 2s for matchups you want to try to get out of. But again, I think this deck's very strong. I think blue does have a lot of toolbox cards for a lot of good reasons, and we'll just see. I don't know. I think Gamma is still better even with the restrictions it has to its leader typing at times. But man, it's I don't know. Blue's still good. Blue's still good. So this is Blake's list. We got two more, I would say, unconventional lists, or at least less popular lists for it. So we do have the Son Goku and Vegeta. There's also the SS Vegito that does get the ununion there. But this is, I would say, like more of the combo, or like mid-range version of like the Super Saiyan Vegeta here that we saw earlier. So this is Emre's version, and it's obviously based off the Spirit Bomb. I wish that this was like a little bit more consistent, like the fact that you have to run more than one, specifically since like you have to like find it kind of. Like, yeah, when a card is placed on your Spirit Bomb, you get this effect, but also you get to activate it from your deck and shuffle. But it wouldn't even be bad if it was like search through your life for it. It's just like the fact that this has to be in your deck is just like a really bad spot for you. So I think that's fine for the deck. That's just like the inconsistency that you can sometimes have, and sometimes you need to run more than one. Is kind of stinky, but like the rest of it is kind of nice for you. I do like the Prince of Destruction Vegeta in this one too. Just the fact like this is very good. Like this can just be a 25k double strike for one, and you also get to draw a card after you play it, and then also you get to KO something. So like this is just really good value for you. And the Spirit Bomb being able to do your big attack is really cool, and just everything with that. So I don't have a lot to say about this right now. I think it's interesting for what it is. I do think it has like consistency issues that holds it back at times, but it is really cool when it goes off. You get to do Spirit Bomb and the fun stuff. So congrats to Emre for their finish there. And to finish it off, we do have the Vacu or Gogeta. And, just sneaking in at 4th place. They did go X2 with this list. And this is a really kooky list in a lot of ways, and just some of the choices for it. The quick crash course for how this deck works is you play your 1-drops, and then to awaken, you don't union like you normally kind of do for these, but you have to do an EX evolve. So you have to have like 2 or more energy, and then when one of your Z energy cards activates EX Evolve, you can flip this over. So your 3-drop Goku and your 4-drop Vegeta can EX Evolve from your Z energy, which means you have to like attack and then you combo. Also, this is just a 5k leader, in case you guys didn't know that. So you really, really want to EX Evolve as soon as you can, which means like you have to play like a 1-drop Goku, and then you have to pay like an energy for all that evolution. You can also do some stuff like play Bulma, which essentially lets you EX Evolve for free, and also get some free combos for it. So like replaces itself, which is kind of nice. I do like the add of the dispos for this build too. So being able to just play a 1-drop from your drop area for free in case your opponent gets rid of it means that you get some free cycle into it too. 6-drop is fine. Dual attack, the union is good, and then the 8-drop, since it is kind of rotted to work how intended, it's kind of okay there too. I do like the Broly is an interesting choice there. Place the card in its owner's drop area from a combo area. Choose up to 1 battle card with a combo cost of 0 in your opponent's combo area and place it in its owner's drop. So this can actually be really good for disruption if your opponent is trying to like build some Z energy for something. Being able to just combo with this and get rid of the card that your Z energy, doing that. Also, it trades very well into super combos. So I like this card. It's a bit of a personal choice, but I can see it being kind of good in a Z energy era that we're kind of in. And then also you're running the Faded Rivals with the Unspeakable, which, I mean, it's pretty easy to get 2 6s out, or you can do an 8 and a 4 kind of easily. So not too difficult to get into your combos. Also running the Gogeta super combo, which is great for again, you can bottom deck it with this. You also can get like free super combos by using Vegeta preparing for battle. So you activate main, place this card from your hand into your drop area, choose it to 1 Vacu or Gogeta in your drop area, add it to your hand. So you can do a low combo where if you combo with this and put in your drop, you can discard this and get a super combo back. So for free, like there's like net nothing for that, so it's good. And then also running 4 Dormants and 4 of the Whis' Capriciousness, which you essentially get to activate this counter for free. It's only for Vacu or Gogeta. You get to negate the attack for free, and then if you want to have a dormant potential effect, you can do that too. So being able to be like very aggressively defensive, I guess, I don't know, like being able to lock your opponent from doing any plays is always something that green can do and be strong with. And then obviously you have the Z leader too here. So anyways, that is going to be my breakdown for this one and for the entire event as well. Again, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to catch some of the action from this tournament on the linked live stream, and that's going to be it for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.